Hey up, I'm Guy Kesterman, the Tester-Man, and this is my live ride review of Canyon's Neuron AL6. A bike that looks and sounds like an all-rounder, but has a clear distance and speed bias. An absolutely superb, affordable price point. So, what are we looking at here in terms of the basics? On the medium through extra large sizes, it's a 29er, 27.5 on the small and extra small, 140mm fork travel on all the bikes, and then 130mm at the rear. And the angles are reasonably progressive as well. 66 degree head, 76 degree seat, and then a really long 480 reach on this large that I'm riding, and then 38mm BB drop. So bang in the algebraic sweet spot in terms of rider position for a stable all-round ride. Because while the what Canyon call triple phase suspension is basically the same layout, it looks a little bit different because the way they've connected the seat stay and chain stay, basically it looks more obvious that the rear wheel is hanging off the seat stay than normal. But anyway, it's the same as their other trail bikes, Spectral, even longer travel stuff. Because Spectral's only 140, 150, so it's only 10mm difference. But on this Neuron, they've used a really long stroke shock in a long eye-to-eye length as well. So typically bikes in this category, like Top Fuel, like my Carbon Wasp, are running like a 45mm stroke. This Neuron is running 50mm stroke. So you've got a really low leverage on the back end of this bike. So you've got the simplest Fox rhythm shock in here. You've got a super smooth, proper limousine ride on the back. So not much in the way of support, but super fluid, super comfortable, and with a really active high traction ride as well. And then the other key thing they've done with the spec, which you might have noticed as I was coming up that rooty climb, having just missed possibly the last of the dry weather for 2025 here in the UK, is that they fitted, top quality Schwalbe Nobby Nick and Wicked Wheel tyres, but in the Addict Speed version, which is, for trail use, pretty slippery rubber, especially when things have just got damp like they have here. And then up front you've got Fox 34 float, which is in the base rhythm spec, and it's stretched out pretty long, 140mm, but it is super smooth, such a fluid forklift, and absolutely great to get Fox suspension front and rear on a bike that is currently at the sale price just over £2,000. Then you've got to add shipping and taxes and stuff, because Canyon is still primarily direct sell. They are moving into retail-based sales in some areas, but primarily it is still a direct consumer brand, which is where they've always got their spectacular value from. Maybe a mistake on these tyres. Whoa, yeah, no, it's still going. To be fair, the knobby bit at the front's all right. Just that wicked wheel on the back. It's not my favourite tyre at the best of times. And in speed grip, whoa, spun up nicely coming off there. It definitely needs some care and attention. But then, the rolling speed is absolutely ridiculous on this setup. And also, as long as you don't get too irregular and get too bogged down in your pedalling, it sits really smoothly. So there's a little bit of loss of nose, because it is pretty active, but it doesn't feel like it's sucking the speed out of you. And while the DT Swiss all mountain line wheels, definitely pretty chunky, I mean 2.2 kilos is hefty for a wheel set. The great news is that gives them a real flywheel effect once you're up to speed. Plus, it means you can, if you swap the wheels out, you'll completely change how this bike feels from kind of a steady plug away machine to something really light and lively, because this alloy frame is a really neat bit of engineering in terms of hitting a performance weight of around 3 kilos but still having a ton of practical features. So if you to like spend a few £100 something like some Hunt alloy XC wheels, this Neuron will be a totally different creature in terms of responsiveness and still roll just as fast. Plus you've got full Shimano Dior as well, 12 speed, and at this point I'm really glad it's a 32th chainring, so gearing's just a little bit easier than your average all-around bike, which I think really works, because at this price point you are going to get beginners who aren't necessarily as fit. Whoa. I kind of got up just a bit sideways. Oh, and it's full Dior as well. There's no hidden shortcuts with the cassette or the bottom bracket or the chain. It's all proper Shimano 6100 with all the durability and smooth shifting winds that brings. And while the dropper post is a Canyon unit, again at a decent length, 170mm, because Canyon actually took 20mm out of all the seat tubes on Neurons in 2023 just to increase seat post room. You even get, you can see it there, Shimano dropper post lever, which I have said multiple times is one of my favourite dropper post levers in existence. It just gives a real quality feel to this Neuron, which is also backed up by the fact that the contact points, remember, this is a £2 bike. It's absolutely top quality. So you've got Ergon G10 grips and an Ergon SM10 saddle. So again, as well as the comfort of that suspension and the easy rolling tyres, this is a bike that is beautifully put together in terms of spec for long, easy, comfortable mileage. And as I was saying, it's a really practical frame as well. So you've got room for 2 bottles on this large, and underneath that Petey's wrap are actually some bolt mounts for, you know, whatever accessories. And you can get a custom built little frame pack from Canyon as well to put your essentials into. And it's internally routed through the down tubes. There's nothing weird going on with the headset. Again, you've got a really good quality Acros headset in there, and all the cables are clipped up. Yeah, you know, it looks like there are quite a lot of them. Maybe I'm just getting too used to wireless setups, but they've all got individual cable clips to keep them as tidy as possible. And there's a close-up of those ergon grips. Proper endurance spec, this. And that's even a race face bar and stem on there. So you're getting proper named equipment. And as well as peace of mind in terms of the construction and practical features, you've also got a really quiet and stealthy ride. Not just because of those nicely managed cables, but also because that rear hub is totally silent. So, proper stealth machine. And as well as coming in the swamp colourway, which they sent to me, don't know what they were trying to tell me, the other colours are really nice and subdued too. So there's lavender, two-tone, which looks a lot like the colour that Jenny Risbets has been destroying people on her Canyon this year. And copper. Again, really neutral, natural kind of autumnal colours. And this bike has always been kind of that classic German for riding into nature, easy all-rounder. And even though it's got more travel and genuinely capable angles, it's still got that real touring distance, anyone can ride it and enjoy it vibe as its primary performance metric. And if you followed the channel long enough, you know I always try and get in these super value bikes whenever I can, because I genuinely think these are by far the most important bikes in mountain biking. Because if you can afford a mega bike, then you're kind of already hooked, aren't you? It doesn't really matter whether you get a Yeti or a Santa Cruz. You know, you'll, oh, look at the deer down there. There you go. There's your German in nature loveliness. But because this bike is just so relaxed and chill, even on the steep stuff like that, you can get your head up and look about and take in your scenery. Or, as I was attempting to say before I got distracted by the local fauna, you know, if it turns your average, oh, there he is again. Wooden Tag. And if it turns a novice housefrau into marine cabaroo, or your first time ride lad into Lucas Shaw, then that's absolutely brilliant in my opinion. And on that note, I think it's worth pointing out again that having DT6 wheels at this price and Field Dior means you've got total peace of mind in terms of mechanical reliability as well. So overall bike weight actually comes in just under 15 kilos for this large, which, you know, isn't far off some carbon bikes with similar travel to this that I've tested. And it's over 700 grams lighter than the nearest bike I've ridden in this price point, which was Boardman's MTR. And you can see there, even with a fair amount of torque going down, that's pretty steady under pedaling. So with that slippery but speedy rear tyre, I thought I was going to get crucified up there without being able to change gear, but no. 30-tooth chainring and efficient pedalling means I'm still chatting, even if you wish I'll probably shut up. Right, so first up I'm going to go steady down here, because whoa, there's full travel for a start. These are slippery tyres, and also I wasn't expecting to come down the woods, so I haven't got my knee pads on. I was going to do more of a kind of distance ride out into the hills, so I thought that would suit the bike better, but actually it's doing remarkably well down here so far. And the other thing I was going to say, it's about the only glitch with this Neuron, is that the rebound at the rear is on something of a knife edge, and that's the only adjustment you've got on it. So I'm still tweaking around with that dial to try and get it totally settled, because you can run it fast and open and that gives it lots of comfort, but that's when it does start bouncing with pedaling. So, and also it seems to have quite a sharp top out kick if you do that. And it's not the super ground carcass tyres, because I know they're actually, no, I know you're going to see that, Dad, because I've got the camera on. Anyway, get used to slippery winter riding, folks. More dabs, more drama. Where was I? Yeah, basically it is quite easy to have the back end kicking about, and it's quite a jarring thwack as well, you know, at top of that travel, I guess, because it's such a low leverage shock. I mean, to be fair, you can definitely have the rebound set up too fast or too slow, so it's not that the shock has been tuned incorrectly for the bike. I think it's just quite a basic rebound damping setup. I don't think I've ever ridden a rhythm shock before. A load of time on performance shocks, but never actually a rhythm as it were. So it might just be a case of the shock rather than this specific application on the Canyon. But if you are new to tuning bikes, I should probably do a series on, you know, how to tune shocks, just a basic one. If I was single track, I'd charge you £1,000 for a video call about it. But if you'd like some suspension tuning videos for free, then just let me know in the comments and we can include that, because again, getting your bike to ride right is absolutely the best way to get value from whatever bike you're buying. But oh, I knew that was going to happen, that's why I slowed down. But maybe slowing down is why it happened, who knows. It's slippery down the Nid, and of course, you know, you've got the bonus jeopardy of, if the front wheel does go, you'll see me getting in for a bath as well. Nah.
Well, as if spotting the deer wasn't enough while I was rattling on about this bike being kind of a perfect embodiment of the whole German passion for getting everybody outdoors and enjoying nature, I literally stopped because I thought, that looks exactly like the kind of fresh slippery log which is going to put me into the river. And as I stopped, over on that far bank there, a couple of otters just sat having a lovely play about. I've literally just stood here, well, sat here on the bike, thought it must be about 10 minutes, just watching them playing, rolling about in the water, popping on and off the bank. Yeah, and genuinely, I so nearly didn't come out. I got out, I'd opened the workshop door and it just started to rain. It's been predicted all day. And I rode into that first bit of woods, and I was like, oh, it's proper raining, the lens is going to be wet. I'm feeling, I had a major case of CBA, and I thought, no, come on. You know, especially as I knew the tyres would be slippery, I didn't have knee pads on, and I kind of abandoned my original route. I actually rode halfway across town to go and head out into the hills, and I was like, nah, not today. And then started rolling, and yeah, I mean, and it's been absolutely, I mean, I've had a huge amount of fun on this bike, but also it's just been a brilliant reminder. So not only is this Neuron absolutely cracking value, but also just get out here. Get out, come ride outside, and just, yeah, even if you're not feeling like it, just put your kit on, get out through the door. I think Graham Obery, the absolute World Championship legend, said, even if you don't feel like riding, at least put your kit on and go and stand in the doorway. Because once you're that far, hopefully you'll commit. And, you know, if you get a ride like this, I mean, literally, even the kingfish, I haven't seen in ages. Because you don't, I mean, I know there's otters down here, but you rarely see them. And it's just been a bloody great ride. And to be honest, I think I've said enough about this bike for now. I think I want to end on this vibe. You know, Canyon have chosen natural colours for this bike. The rain is coming down even harder now, and I just feel like this seems like a natural place to end it. So, massive thanks for watching this. Yeah, there'll be a full workshop talk round as well, where I'll go into more details on the bike, and you can see more of the details up close and personal. Because again, I think, you know, just things like the lines of the bike, just the way that, God, could I have done this more awkwardly? The way that stay just runs all the way up into that top tube. You know, it's a classic layout, obviously, but I just think it looks super neat. And obviously, even the Yorkshire Wildlife appreciates it as well. So, do whatever you feel you need to do on YouTube in terms of clicks, thumbs up, and subscriptions. But I'm going to have a really mellow ride home now on what is a really enabling, amazing value all-rounder. That if you don't mind shopping direct, should definitely be on your shopping list, or, you know, the shopping list of anyone who you want to get into riding, really, because, you know, hopefully there are people who are watching this who've already got a super bike, but they want to get their family into riding. You know, this comes in an extra small, which is quite rare for a budget bike. You'll often find bike brands cutting down on sizing and just selling the most popular models, because, you know, that's the best policy from getting value. But it's great that, you know, I mean, chainstays aren't really size specific. It's 440 on the large, it's 430 on the small, but you get smaller wheels, and they do the extra small and the small. So it's got a good as chance as fitting most adults. And then there's actually I'm pretty sure there's a young hero range as well on Neuron. I'll have to check that. I'll let you know in the captions if that's true. I should know. I did a load of website writing for them earlier this year. But my therapist says I shouldn't talk about that. But yeah, no, great bike, great value. Particularly, I think I was going to sum it up while riding and just say, this bike is particularly suited, maybe not to the most dynamic riders, because they might find it a bit squishy, and those tyres are going to give them limits. Maybe you can change tyres, but they'll probably be better off in a base model Spectral. But if you're crossing long distances or just want to make off-road seem less intimidating, what an awesome bike. Right, my arm's gone numb. This was only meant to be short. Bugger off. Go find your own otters.